So just a quick intro then. My name's Alex Smith. I'm the founder of Leadith, and Leadith basically helps B2B businesses generate leads on LinkedIn with minimal time and minimal cost. I'm also a recently certified Entrepreneurs Circle coach, and over the next 60 minutes, I'm here to share the real reasons that your business might not be where you want it to be yet, and more importantly, what to do about it. So at the end of the session, hopefully, I'm going to offer you something really incredible, which is an hour of my time. I have a price tag on there for £250. There's huge value there. So there's a discount code, which I'll share at the very end of the webinar, just so you can bag that. Obviously, there's a very limited number of those. So there is a time limit on that, but we'll come to that right at the end if you stay to the end. So it's all about helping you to build a thriving business that's going to bring you joy. And that's where we're going today. Right, so I'm just going to move my screen about a little bit because my notes and everything's all a little bit different to how I normally look at it. But today's topic, 18 secrets that super successful business owners know and do. So this session is built around 18 practical steps that top performing, stress-free business owners live by. This is not theory, it's not fluff. These are the things that they actually do differently, and most business never even get shown. I don't know if you kind of grew up like me, but I did GCSE in business studies, and that was my education for business. And then I went out into the family business, and it was learning everything from the ground up. Never went to university, so I've had to learn the hard way, learn by doing, building a business. And last year managed to exit a business as well, which was a first for me as well. So we're going to go through these 18 secrets, and these are kind of some of the things that some business owners kind of learn, but often their business just grows year on year with control, whereas other people can often stay stuck and overwhelmed, and often they're underpaid, not paying the full salary that they should be paying themselves. So by the end of this webinar, you're going to know exactly which changes are going to make the biggest difference, the biggest levers that are going to make that difference for you. Hopefully you've picked up on this. Before we dive in, I've actually got a free resource just so you can make the most out of this session. The session is about an hour long. It's probably designed to be about a 2-hour session, so I'm actually going super fast, going to cram in quite a lot. Try to put your hand up if you want to interrupt me, or do something, just wave at the camera, and hopefully I can take a question. But if we can save kind of other questions towards the end, if it's a relevant question about what I'm talking about, then feel free to interrupt me. But yeah, we're going to hopefully have a bit of time at the very end to do a bit of talking. So this is the worksheet that I'm referring to. I've printed one out here myself, just to show you. Print that out, black and white, 1 page. It will really help you to go through all the different 18 steps, and you've got to fill in the blanks as we go along. So if you've missed some of them out, no worries, this session's being recorded. We're also going live out to LinkedIn and YouTube, where you can access this content down the line as well. So hopefully you've got it. Scan the QR code if you've not got it, and just have it on your screen as a bit of a guide to help you as we go through this. So here's what the session is really about. By the end, we're going to understand exactly why your business isn't where you want it to be. And more importantly, you're going to know what to do about it and exactly how to get there. So I'm going to show you these 18 practical shifts that the most successful business owners make, things that a lot of people just will never learn. So by you taking this session today, you're going to be well ahead of all the other people. You really are. So hopefully it's going to help you to be more profitable, and obviously that means you're going to be a lot less stressed in business as your business grows. So it's very simple. We've got a nice structure to it, and we're going to just kind of dive into that. So I hope that's all good. Who's kind of with me here on this journey today? Steve's there. Thank you, Steve. Elizabeth, Edith, Liana, thumbs up, and yep, and the others that are also in the room there. Great. So how to get there, we've just looked at that. So I'm running a bit behind on the slide, so I need to get a move on. So to make this practical and easy to apply, we've actually broken the 18 steps into 6 focused areas. Okay, so 6 kind of subheadings. It starts with your head, how you think as a business owner, and that mindset will set the ceiling for your growth. Then we're going to look at the numbers, and that's the real ones that matter. Most business owners don't track them. That's got to change today. If you want to see a bigger difference in your business, you need to start tracking. Even if you're not hitting those targets or those goals yet, it's great just to have a box on a spreadsheet with a red box, you know, and if that red box goes in there for 3 or 4 weeks in a row, it really motivates your mind to start doing something about it. So once we've looked at the numbers, we're going to then look at your team. Some of you are just small solopreneurs. You don't have a team yet. Some of you might have a VA that works remotely. Some of you might have a bigger team that you work with. So we're going to look at the team, the marketing, and then the way that the business is set up. And the last section we're going to look at, and that's probably the most important piece of this masterclass, is your role in all of it. So each section builds on the previous section. So keep an eye out for the ones that really hit home, make some notes, and then you'll know exactly where to focus your efforts on. So it's your head. We're going to look at your numbers, your team. We're going to look at your marketing, which is my happy area. I love marketing. Your business, and then we'll also look at your role. Now, before we move on, I wanted to bring your attention to this. Some of you might have seen this before. I know Steve's been around in the EC, so he might have come across this. Let's take a moment here to really draw a line in the sand, because from this point forward, you're no longer talking about guesswork, chaos, or survival mode. This is what we call the era of the professional business person, someone who runs their company with clarity, consistency, and control. 3 C's there. They know their numbers, they lead with real intention, yeah, and they don't just hope it works, they actually engineer it. So everything we're covering here is built on this foundation. So if you're here to raise your game, this is where it all starts. So section 1 is your head. And why start with your head? Because everything in business begins with how you think. Mindset isn't fluff, it's actually foundational. So most business owners don't just work differently, they think differently. And that's our first secret today. Most business owners are not super successful. Yeah, the owners who break through are the ones who stop copying the masses and start making decisions based on their vision, based on data, and based on clarity. And that's something we'll pick up later on about having, you know, the data-driven decision making. So if you feel like you're meant for more, which you are, it starts here with how you think. Let's look at how that shift really works. Hi Liana, good to see you. But there's a hard truth, and that's our second strategy, and that is that it's all your fault. It's one of the most powerful mindset shifts that you can make as a business owner. Whatever your business looks like right now, it's your fault. The good, the bad, the frustrating, it's all a direct result of the decisions that you've made, the standards that you've set, and the boundaries that you've allowed. Now, that might be might sting you a little bit, but it's also really empowering. Because it's all your fault, then you're the one who can fix it. And you're the one who is going to fully take ownership. And then when you do that, everything becomes possible. So secret 2, it's all your own fault. This is a photo from, I'll talk a lot about Entrepreneurs Circle because a lot of this content comes from these guys. And this is in their head office up in Birmingham in the UK. And this is just, isn't it just a catchy phrase? Literally written on the wall, so everybody remembers it as they go in. And it's here to remind every coach, every team member, and every business owner that, you know, they work with this core truth. You're 100% responsible for where your business ends up. No one is coming to save you. No one else is going to get the credit when it works. This level of ownership is what separates professionals from maybe a passenger, someone who's just on the journey for the ride. And once you truly accept this, you actually become unstoppable. So really powerful secret. Number 2, it's all your fault. Let's move on to our third secret. And another great simple secret here, but most business owners skip over this. So this is, you know, you've got to know where you are going. A friend of mine talks about knowing the number of the bus that you're about to get on. It's just as importantly where you're at right now. It sounds obvious, but many people kind of just drift through the months reacting to what's in front of them. A sat nav can't guide you unless it knows your destination, and this is your starting point. It's the same in business. Without that clarity, it's all guesswork. With it, you've got a route, and that's how you move from survival to strategy. So secret 3 is you've got to know where you're going. You've probably seen this before, but it's never been more relevant in business. If you don't know where you're going, it doesn't matter what you do. That's the trap most business owners fall into. Heading down, reacting, no clear end in mind. So you can't decide, you can't design a business that really supports your life if you haven't actually defined what your life looks like. So often when I work with kind of new clients who are exploring the EC and stuff, we really go to this in a lot of detail. What is the life that they want to live? So that's a great little quote there from Alice in Wonderland. This one hits home for a lot of people. Most entrepreneurs don't actually own a business. They own a job with overheads and more stress. If everything relies on you, that's sales, delivery, all the way to operations, you haven't built a business. You've built a machine that collapses when you stop pedaling. And there's no shame in that, but there is a choice. And today it's about giving you the tools, the structure, and the clarity to make that shift from job owner to business owner. And today is all about giving you these tools. It's implementing the tools. I'll give you the tools, but you need to start to implement the tools. And that's why the follow-up session that I'll invite you to at the end is really going to unlock some of this for you in a bit more detail. So let's look at what holds most people back from making that shift and making that change. Fact, most people are unhappy in life. Just look around you. I mean, me and Liana were talking about post-COVID and just how, the pace of life has speeded on ridiculously fast. It's a very an uncomfortable truth, but most people are quietly dissatisfied. They're not miserable, but they're just, they're not fulfilled, and they're just stuck in that loop, putting up with maybe good enough. So they've accepted the grind as normal, and that's why nothing changes. They're kind of in that routine, and that's the danger. If you're not happy enough to act, then you're tolerating a business or life as it is, and that's far below what you're actually capable of. So the clients I coach who create the biggest breakthroughs, they make the decision, they refuse to settle, and this session is about helping you to reach that point with clarity and not crisis. So yeah, most people are unhappy in life, but not unhappy enough to do something about it. Here's the crossroad. Every business owner faces this. You can keep making a living, working hard, staying busy, reacting to the most urgent things, or you can actually start to design a life, intentionally build a business that really funds your freedom, supports your family, gives you space to breathe, whatever you want to do. Both paths will take effect, but only one of them will lead to that real freedom that you're after. And it's a choice that you've got to make deliberately, because if you don't design it, you're just going to default into that survival mode. And I've been there. I've been in that survival mode far too many times. So yeah, I understand it. What could your life be like? So just take a moment and really consider this. If your business truly worked for you, not the other way around, what could your life be like? What would your ideal week look like? I mean, I actually managed to get down to a 3-day working week consistently for a whole year, probably around about 2 years ago. And then last year went back up to 4 days. But that was my aim. I don't know about you guys. Do you want to be working harder and longer, or do you want to be working less? What would that ideal week look like for you? How much time would you actually spend working, and what kind of work would you be doing? Who would you like to be spending that time with instead? This isn't wishful thinking. It's actually the foundation of real business design, because until you're clear on what you want your life to look like, your business can't be built to support it. And if you know what you want your life to look like, the next question is, what's stopping you? And what's really getting in the way? Often it's not on the it's not the market, it's not the economy, it's not your team, but it's mindset, the habits, or maybe the lack of structure. And sometimes just not having that clear roadmap, that's kind of what this training is all about, making sure you've got these things. Once you identify what's in the way, then you can remove it, take it out of the way, and start making real progress. Now, this is one of the biggest mistakes that business owners make when setting goals in their planning and growth stages. They start with where they're at currently. And the problem with this, well, you're now shaped by your current limitations, your time, your team, your confidence, and even your cash flow. If you plan from that place, you're only ever going to make slightly, incremental progress. And we're not here to improve the current version of your business. We're here to create the version that actually delivers what you want. And that means starting somewhere completely different to where you're currently at. So this is the shift that changes everything. Don't build your business from where you are, but build it from where you want to be. Start with the end in mind, your ideal income, lifestyle, time, freedom, team, and your role. Then work backwards. When you do this, every decision becomes clearer, and you stop reacting and actually start designing. And that's how successful business owners operate. They build their future first, and then they align their business to serve it. We're going to move on to section 2, and it's all about your numbers. And we're going to have some interaction here to see if people understand their numbers and what sort of numbers they need to be checking. So listen out. Why are we being so specific here? What's your number all about? I mean, how much do you want or need your business to pay you each year to give you the lifestyle, give you that security and that freedom that you actually want? And we're not talking about turnover, not top line ego figures. I mean, personal income after everything else. What's that personal income got to be after everything else? Then that number becomes your North Star. Without it, you're just drifting around. So we'll talk later about how to reverse engineer your business around that. But for now, write down that figure, own it, because clarity on that number one figure will change everything, guaranteed. So secret 4, this is going to be one of the most important stats that you'll ever see as a business owner. 1, 4, 15, 60, 20. What does all that mean? Well, number one person in 100 will actually become truly wealthy. 4 people will become truly financially free and prosperous. 15 will earn a good living. 60 will struggle financially year after year. So that's where most people are. And 20 will actually go broke. So if you're not where you want to be yet, you're not actually alone. You're probably with the majority. But here's the key. The people in that top 5% are not necessarily smarter or luckier. They just know that, the things that most people don't yet know. And more importantly, they do what most people won't do. And that's what this session's about. So let's dig into what those business owners do differently. Take a look at this. We just looked at the figures, the 1, 4, 15, 60, and 20. And it just shows you visually, at the top, you've got that 1% who've created real wealth. Below them, you've got the 4% who are financially comfortable and just growing. Then it drops sharply. 15% are doing okay. Then the vast majority, the 60%, consistently struggling to stay afloat. And the bottom 20%, they're just out of the game now. So here's the tough bit. The majority of advice, opinions, how-to content out there comes from the middle of the pyramid, which means if you follow what everyone else is doing, you're going to land there. And you're going to stay stuck. You're going to stay stressed, and you're going to be stuck on that financial treadmill. The goal is to break out of that. And to do that, you've got to think and act like that top 5% in the pyramid there. So now we shift from mindset to metrics, because we actually want to run a proper business, not just own a job. You've got to know your numbers. And we're not talking about vague guesses or ballpark estimates here. I'm talking about the 6 specific numbers that every professional business owner tracks, reviews, and then they use to make decisions within their business. And if you don't know these numbers, you're just flying blind. You've got to be in control. So let's go through them, starting with the most important one first, and that's profit. So how much profit did you make last month? It's a great number to keep tracking. And if you can build a simple spreadsheet to incorporate these metrics, we call it a scorecard, which I'll look at a little bit later on in the session, it will really help you. The next number that you need to know is your breakdown. So in plain terms, what is the minimum revenue that your business requires, that needs to generate just to cover its costs? And most business owners don't actually know this number. I mean, you watch Dragon's Den and programs like that, and people are just, floundering in the numbers quite often. So you just got to be sure of what this number is. When you know your breakdown, everything else just becomes so much clearer. Your pricing becomes clearer, your sales targets, your cash flow decisions. It gives you complete control. And in business, control is power. So what's your break even for your business? The next one, number 3, your gross margin. Now, this is the difference between what you sell something for and what it costs you to deliver it. And why does that matter? Well, it matters because gross margin is the fuel for everything else. It's the margin for your profit, your marketing, your budget, your ability to hire and to start scaling the business. So a business with a strong margin has more options. One without it, you're going to have constant pressure. So you need to know this number and improve it over time if you want to build something that's going to be lasting and sustaining. What's your operating cash flow so far this year? Number 4. It's not the same as profit. Operating cash flow is the actual money that your business has generated through its core operations. What's come in minus what's gone out. So you can be profitable on paper, but have absolutely zero cash in the bank. And it's cash, not profit. That's going to be what pays the wages, covers the bills, and keeps the lights on. So you need to know your cash flow position and use it as an indicator. It tells you how healthy your business really is. It's one of the most critical numbers to monitor on a monthly basis, especially if you're growing. Number 5 is all about efficiency. What did it cost you to acquire each new client last month? Whether it's through ads, outreach, referrals, content, every lead costs time or money to win. And if you don't know your cost per acquisition, you can't scale with confidence. You might be spending more to win a customer than they're actually worth, and that's a really bad position to be in. But when you know this number, you can budget a lot smarter. You can start to price things correctly and invest in growth without all the guesswork. So every proper business owner should know this number. It's got to be on their dashboard and they need to be checking it regularly. And the final figure, this is all about alignment. How are you tracking against your plan, your year to date? Not just are we busy or how does it feel, but what do the actual numbers say? Did you set a clear financial and operational target at the start of the year? If so, are you on course? Are you ahead of it? Or maybe you're behind it? And this isn't all about guilt or pressure. It's about having visibility. Because when you start to track your progress properly, you can start to course correctly and early and finish the year super strong. So successful owners run their businesses to plan. Everyone else runs on hope, and hope is not a strategy. Let's be blunt for a second. If you don't know your numbers, you don't really have a business. You've got a guessing game. You might be working hard and you might be turning over a little bit of money, but you're not in control. And businesses that run on guesswork will either stall, they're going to shrink, they're going to burn out the person that's running them. The most successful business owners treat their numbers like a dashboard in a cockpit. They check them, they understand them, and they use them to steer, because that's what the professionals do. This is the turning point, not just this session, but also in life. You know, how you need to think as a business owner. We're now in the era of the professional business person, not a freelancer, not a hustler, someone, not just somebody who's getting by, but a proper business person, someone who knows their numbers, builds systems, tracks performance, and leads a business with intent. The amateur mindset won't cut it anymore. Professionalism is the edge. So if you want freedom, control, and proper profit, you've got to run your business professionally. And that's what this next session is all about. Let's get into it. So secret 6. Here's the reality. What gets measured gets managed. And the most successful business owners, they don't just look at the numbers, but they track them in a scorecard every single week. So your scorecard has got to include the key metrics that are going to drive your business forward: the leads, the sales, the profit, the cash flow, fulfillment, marketing activity. And when you review it weekly, you get to stay in control. You start to spot the issues early, and you make decisions based on facts, not just feelings. So the best owners don't just look at reports, but they run to their weekly scorecard. So that's the secret 6. Hopefully you're all still with me, your scorecard. Now we move into part 3, which is all about your team. Because the truth is, until you've got the right people doing the right things the right way, growth will always be on your shoulders. So let's look at what the best businesses do differently when it comes to people. Secret 7, build your team first. This one flips conventional thinking. Great businesses aren't built on great people. They're built on great processes, because people come and go, but documented systems stay. When your business runs on systems, not personalities, it becomes scalable, sellable, and far less stressful. And yes, great people are still very, very important, but they should follow great processes. So create the right environment, give them the tools, then get out of their way, empower them. Secret 8, the right person is never magically available at the moment you realize you need them. That's why top business owners recruit proactively, not reactively. They're always building, a bench, always networking, always identifying who they need 3 months down the line from now. Because hiring in desperation leads to disaster. So you've got to plan your hires ahead. The right people rarely show up on time unless you go looking for them. So secret number 8, you get more of what you tolerate. Secret 9, be clear what you stand for. I love this one. It wraps up this section really nicely on your team, and it's a critical one. If you want to build a team that's aligned, committed, and performs at a really high level, you've got to be crystal clear on what you stand for. And I'm talking about your values, your mission, the standards you operate by, because people don't just work for pay, they work for meaning. When your team knows what you believe, what matters, and what you're going, and where you're going, that number on the bus, where are you heading to? They know the mission. They don't just show up, but they actually buy in. Clarity creates that culture, and it's the culture that then drives performance. So don't just build a team, build a movement around something that really matters. Before we dive into the next section, I just want to pause and ground us for a moment. For me and many other business owners I coach, this journey is more than just numbers or strategy. It's about building a business that reflects who we are, one that's led with integrity, that values people, and that leaves a real positive impact. So as a Christian, I often come back to this verse from the book of Proverbs in the Bible. It says, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. So whether you share, my faith or not, I believe that every proper business should be rooted in something much deeper than profit. So as we head into the next section, which is all about marketing, remember, the goal is to grow a business. It's not just to be successful, but be honorable, be impactful, and be really true to your personal values. Let's look at your marketing, because here's the truth. If you want predictable growth, you need predictable marketing. Most businesses live in a really feast or famine cycle. They're relying on referrals or leads come in randomly. Sales are very inconsistent and you're constantly firefighting. But it doesn't have to be that way. Proper business owners have marketing systems that generate leads, build trust, and drive the sales consistently. And in this next section, I'm actually going to show you how the best in the game approach marketing very differently. Yeah, you've seen this slide before, and I'm bringing it back on purpose because as we head into marketing, it's worth saying this again. It's all your fault. That's not a criticism, it's a challenge. If your business isn't attracting the right leads, if your message isn't cutting through, or if you're really just stuck on relying on word of mouth, then that's on us as a business owner. And the good news is that we can fix it. Because when you take full ownership of your marketing, you actually start to unlock control, consistency, and the real momentum to get things moving. So let's go there. Secret 10, you're in control. You get to decide. This secret might ruffle a few feathers, but it's actually very critical. Marketing is more important than the delivery. Yep. Now, I'm not saying that you don't need to deliver great results. You absolutely do need to do that. But if nobody knows who you are or what you do, it doesn't matter how brilliant your service is. The truth is that you can have an average product with brilliant marketing and grow fast, but you can't scale a brilliant product with terrible marketing. So marketing is what brings you opportunity. It's the engine of growth. And if you neglect it, you're going to starve your business. Delivery fulfills the promise, but marketing makes that promise possible. So secret 10, you're in control, you get to decide. Here's one of our favorite mindset metaphors. Make sure you don't go to the ocean with a teaspoon, at least take a bucket so the kids won't laugh at you. And a few people have paraphrased this, but the ocean here represents opportunity, clients, revenue, scale, growth, and the size of your results, that depends entirely on the container that you bring with you. And most business owners approach opportunity with a teaspoon. Small goals, limited belief, minimal systems, but the ocean doesn't care. It's abundant, it's available. The only question is what are you showing up with? Because if you want bigger outcomes, you need to build a bigger container, better marketing, tighter systems, and have that clearer mindset. So you get what you expect and prepare for. So let's trade in that teaspoon for a bucket. Let's just be honest, marketing today is super hard. It's much more complex than it's ever been. We talk about algorithms, platforms, funnels, automations. It's a complete maze. And it takes a lot of specialist knowledge to really cut through what worked maybe a year ago might not be working now. And even if you got the strategy right, you still need to have real tight execution to get results. A half-hearted marketing campaign just doesn't cut it anymore. But here's the good news. Whilst most business owners are overwhelmed by this, those who learn how to market professionally are actually going to really dominate in their space. And that's what we're focusing on in the rest of this section. Come on, just waiting for the slides to tick through. I don't know if any of you know who this is. Thumbs up. Blank faces, and most of you are all probably, maybe some of you are older than me, should know this. Bananarama, a pop band that came to the fore in the 1980s. They were from London. So this one is really crucial to understand. Everything works, but nothing works forever. Call it banana-rama syndrome. I was trying to find an equivalent one for a younger audience, and Spice Girls, but they came back. So you might have a tactic that's working brilliantly right now. Google Ads, LinkedIn outreach, referrals, but at some point that channel will fade. Costs will rise, the algorithm's going to shift, and your whole strategy is built around one thing. You're in trouble. The most successful business owners, they don't cling to what used to work. They actually adapt. Thanks, Luke, for joining us. They actually test, they tweak, and they stay ahead of the curve. Complacency really kills marketing. So, to keep what's working is great, but you've always got to be building what's next. Let's move on to secret 12. You can probably see it if you've got the worksheet and you're following along. It's a bucket with lots of holes in it. Secret 12 is you've got a leaky bucket. And this hits a lot of business owners hard. You've got this leaky bucket. What does that mean? It means the effort, the time, and the money that you're putting into marketing, is losing leads. Sales is lost, and you're losing customers because there are holes in your process. Maybe your follow-up is inconsistent. Maybe your inquiries in your inbox is where things are being lost. Maybe your website is confusing visitors instead of converting them. So whatever it is, leads are slipping through, and putting more water into that leaky bucket doesn't just solve the problem. You've got to fix the holes before you crank up the volume and turn that tap on. So great marketing isn't just about generating demand, it's about capturing and converting it properly. Here's a stat worth paying attention for. Let's just have a thumbs up just to make sure you're all with me still. Elizabeth, well done. Well done, Steve. Excellent. Edith's with us, great. So 98.7% of businesses never truly scale. Huge statistic. They stay small, they stay stuck, or they stay stressed. Now, why is this? It's not because the owner isn't working hard. It's not because the market's bad. And it's not even because of competition, but it's because they never fix their fundamentals. They stay reactive instead of building systems. They avoid numbers. They delay the hiring. They rely on hope instead of marketing. And also, they just stay in this survival mode, never really thriving. But the top, at the top, you've got the 1.3%. They choose to lead like professionals. And that's exactly what this webinar is about. Fixing the foundations, and everything else from there will get so much easier, which includes you. Here's a powerful mindset shift again. If you want to increase sales, you don't need more leads to start with. The quickest and easiest, most profitable way is to grow is to handle the leads that you're already getting, being a bit more efficient. That's faster follow-ups, better nurturing, clearer messaging, sharper offers. Most businesses leave money on the table because they're not converting the traffic that they're getting, the interest, and the inquiries that are already coming into them. And when you fix that, you're going to improve your cash flow without spending a penny more on ads, outreach, or content. You don't need more noise, you need more conversion. So most business owners think their problem is not enough leads, but in reality, it's usually something much, much deeper. Leads might be coming in, but they're not being followed up fast enough or consistently enough, or by someone who knows what to say. And often I see this through the LinkedIn lead outreach platform. So many clients are just, they're generating the leads. You look at the stats, they're getting responses, but they're neglecting them. And that's why we've introduced AI to help them out in that process. So it could be that the leads are just warm. It could be that the sales process is unclear. It could be the offer doesn't quite hit the mark. It's rarely a volume issue. It's usually a conversion and system issue. And if we keep chasing more leads without fixing that, we just pour more into that leaky bucket we talked about earlier. So if you get this right and realize that you've probably got more opportunity sitting in your inbox right now than you think. Here's the truth behind most flatlining sales figures. It's not that you don't have the leads. It's not that you're not doing enough to convert the ones you've already got. That means you've got no structured follow-up, no tracking of conversion rates, and no clear next steps or a compelling offer. So when those pieces are missing, you're losing potential clients who are already interested. And people talk about how easy it is to retain clients rather than get a new one. The cost of acquiring new clients is massive. So fixing this isn't about being pushy. It's about being professional. It's about creating a process that's going to guide people from interest to decision with clarity and that consistency. Because better conversion means better profit without needing more leads. Here's where the ego often kicks in. You'll see these issues: missed leads, weak follow-up, poor conversion, and you think, yeah, but that's not me. Here's the danger. If you believe you're the exception, you'll stay stuck. I've coached quite a few businesses over, multi six-figure businesses, and many of them have major leaks that they didn't even realize. I've got into discovery calls and had chats with multi-million-pound businesses, and it's amazing to hear of the issues that they've got that we spoke about previously. So this slide is just your prompt to stay open, stay curious, to look again at what's really happening inside your business, because this does apply to you. And accepting this is what separates the professionals from everyone else. Let's move into section 5 now, your business, part 5. This is where we start to look at the machine itself, not the leads, not the mindset, but how your business actually runs. Because what most owners call a business is really just a job they happen to own. No systems, no structure, no leverage. And this section is about turning your business into a real scalable asset, one that works without you being in the middle of everything. Because until you fix the business side, growth will always come as a stress. So let's change that. Secret 13, quote from C.S. Lewis here: you can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. Great theologian, philosopher, C.S. Lewis, author of a lot of books. You might have made mistakes. You might be years, 3-4 years into the business now, stuck in those habits. Maybe you're firefighting, but none of that defines your future, because from wherever you are right now, you can make the choice. You can decide to rebuild, restructure, and refocus. You can stop tolerating what's not working and start engineering a business that actually serves you. And that's what this next part is all about. It's about taking ownership of the structure, the direction of your business, so that you can change the ending. Secret 14, it's different as you grow. Here's what most business owners don't realize until it's too late. And that's what got you here won't get you there. This image says it all. Early on, success comes from your own effort, grit, hustle, late nights, doing it all yourself. But as you know, that model breaks. You can't scale a business. You need the systems. You need teams. You need tools. You need that leverage. So the bigger your vision, the more your operation needs to evolve. This isn't about working harder, but it's about working differently. You've got to upgrade the way you run your business if you want bigger, better, more consistent results. Secret 15 is what we call cracking the rhythmic acquisition of customers, and that changes everything. That's a bit of a motto that the EC stick with, and it's all about this. Every business needs customers coming in steadily and consistently, and that's what we call the rhythmic acquisition of those customers. And when you crack that and you've got it and they're coming so consistently, all the other stuff is not so important. So secret 15, we need to crack the rhythmic acquisition of customers. Again, back to this theme, excuse me, because it matters so much more now than ever. This is the era of the professional business person, not the hustler, not the busy fool, not the one just winging it, but the owner who leads with structure, clarity, numbers, and discipline. And this webinar has started to show you what that looks like. And it's exactly the most successful businesses and owners what they're doing already. So I'm going to show you some stats about just to prove how effective that shift can be. These stats come from the Entrepreneurs Circle members. They're the biggest kind of business growth membership organization in the UK here. So average growth rate over 2 years, as you can see, huge, 174%, whereas the national average growth was significantly lower at 5%. That's not luck. That's not market timing. It's not about being special at all, but it's about applying these secrets that you've seen today deliberately, consistently, and professionally. And the best part is that anyone can do this, even you. So I love their approach. Have a look at these numbers. This chart shows the actual growth achieved by Entrepreneur Circle members who've been in the program for at least 2 years. So they have a flagship program. It's called the Master Plan. There's quite a lot to it. It's a huge investment, and we can talk about that if that's relevant to you down the line. But this is not theory, it's performance. Around 30% of the members grew between 50 and 99%, and nearly 35% more than doubled their business, hitting 100, 200% growth. And almost another 35% smashed their 200% mark. These aren't unicorns, these are everyday business owners who chose to do things differently, chose to do things with structure, support, and proper systems. So when you follow the process and start to implement what you've seen today, that level of growth is entirely possible. And that's what happens when you move away from being that busy operator in the business to a professional business owner. Section 6, as we're coming into land here, is all about your role. So it's the final part. This is where most business owners hit the ceiling, because as the business grows, the demands on you change. You're still doing what you did at the start, wearing every hat, making every decision. You're the bottleneck. And this section is about stepping into your real job as a business owner, building the team, driving the numbers, leading the vision, because the success of your business is a direct reflection of how well you understand and live out your role at the top. So let's look at what it really means. Secret number 16 is one that can feel uncomfortable, but it's vital. You've got to get out the weeds. If you're doing all the fulfillment, chasing invoices, tweaking the website, managing the diary, then you're not actually leading the business. You're just operating inside it. And there's nothing wrong with hard work, but being in the weeds day to day means your business can't grow beyond your personal capacity. It's time to stop being the technician and start being the owner. Because if you're stuck in the trenches, no one is driving strategy, no one is watching the numbers, and no one is focused on scale. The business doesn't need you to work harder, it needs you to rise above and lead. So secret 16 is you've got to get out the weeds. Sorry, there's no way to write that on the box. It's just a bunch of weeds to remind you. To win, you must choose to do some things and not others. And this principle sets apart winners from those that are just kind of worn out. To win in business, you've got to make choices. Not everything matters equally. Not everything deserves your time, and not every opportunity is always worth chasing. Most business owners stay overwhelmed because they're trying to do everything. They're saying yes to everyone to keep every plate spinning. But real progress comes when you draw a line. when you say, these are the things that I'm focusing on, and I'm deliberately not doing the rest. Discipline is deciding what to ignore. Focus is power. And as the business owner, it's your job to really protect that focus. So I'm going to show you this slide again because it's worth repeating. This isn't just theory, it's real. Documented growth from business owners who have committed to doing what they've seen today. And the key difference is they didn't just watch a webinar and feel inspired, they actually implemented. They made changes. They focused on the numbers, they systemized, and then they led like professionals. And this graph, it's not just a nice slide, it's a preview of what can happen when you choose to lead differently. This is the payoff for doing things consistently. Secret 17 is surprisingly simple and shockingly powerful. I was taught this probably about 4 years ago, and it used to be 60 minutes. It's now gone up to 90 minutes for me, so I've had to find 30 extra minutes. 90 minutes of focused, uninterrupted time every single day dedicated to growing your business. We're not talking about admin, not delivery, not firefighting. This is time spent on marketing, systems, and strategic thinking, the stuff that really moves your business forward. Because if you can't carve out those 90 minutes, I have to get up early because I've got 3 kids. So I get up at 6 o'clock, put the kettle on. I'm in here in the back garden in my office in the shed, and I'm going for 90 minutes. And that growth every single day, it helps you. If you don't do it, you just stay stuck in this survival mode. You've got to protect your time, use it wisely. Your business is going to compound. It's going to get very, 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 very busy week by week. So this simple, doable, it's a non-negotiable. Ideally, you've got to be doing it if you want to see the real progress. We actually have a pad here, which comes from the EC, and it says every working week you have 60 45-minute slots. How are you using yours? And the idea is so you can plan your whole week. It's broken up into slots, just to better understand that, where your time's going and what you're doing. I love this. Secret 18, learn from the best. Every successful business owner I know has this in common. They don't try and figure it all out on their own. They invest in learning. They surround themselves with smart people, and they model what works. It's not about ego, it's about progress. If someone else has already solved the challenges that you're facing, then why wouldn't you learn from them? And that's why I became a certified entrepreneur's coach, is to bring those exact strategies, the systems, the shortcuts to business owners like yourselves. So if you're ready to step into that next level, the next step is super simple. One last time, the era of the professional business person. The rules have changed, amateurs don't survive, and hustle isn't enough. But when you step up and lead with clarity and run your business like a pro, everything changes. And that's what the 18 secrets are about. Hopefully this session has really helped you. If this has resonated with you, I know something needs to shift in your business maybe, then I invite you to take the next step with me. Head over to leadeth.io/EC or scan the QR code. What this is the strategy call. It's completely free to you guys. These are normally £250, so you will need a coupon code, which is EC25. That's Echo Charlie 25. That will discount the £250 fee, and I'll give you an hour of my time so we can work on some of this stuff together. No pressure. It's not a sales pitch. It's just clarity. So if you've really connected with what I've shared today and you're serious about changing the trajectory of your business, scan that QR code on your screen. There's a limited time. I'll leave it open probably for about 48 hours, and then I'll close this off. So really appreciate if you grab one of those sessions. Use the coupon code EC18. That's Echo Charlie 18. Oh no, Echo Charlie 25. I can't remember whether it's 18 or 25, so you might need to try both in the basket. I recently changed it around, so I think it's 25 because it's 2025 and it's the first time I'm running it. So EC25. We'll take an hour just to look at your business together, help you to identify what's holding you back, what to fix first, what the real progress could look like for you, and maybe over the next 90 days. Yeah, no fluff, no pressure, just clarity, direction, and momentum. Yeah, and I only work with business owners who are really ready to implement, take ownership and grow. So yeah, if that's you, let's talk. Thank you so much for joining me today. Genuinely hope that this session has helped you, give you that spark that you needed to get going in business. Any questions at all?